Alright guys, today is the 30th anniversary of the Amstrad CPC 464, released in 21st of June in 1984. So happy birthday to the Amstrad CPC, and here's mine in all its glory. Yes, and we're just going to take a quick look at the machine, just give a quick overview. Okay, well here it is in all its glory. I hope you can see that very well. Yes, first impressions are, well, the colourful keys. Yes, not many people, well, there seems to be a fair amount of people that don't like them, think they look a bit childish or whatever. I like them. I think it's quite distinctive and it makes the machine stand out. And you have to remember, in the early to mid 80s, there was a huge number of competing computers on the market, and you needed to stand out, and it certainly did. I think it looks quite good actually. There we go. So let's have a look in a little bit closer detail. There we go. Amstrad 64K colour personal computer, CPC 464. We've got the on LED there. Keys, pretty decent keyboard. I like it. It could do with a bit more spring in its step in the keys. Certainly feel okay. Against key, numeric pad, and we've got the cursors up the top here. I would prefer them down below if for game playing type things. Cassette deck. Yes, the eject button's broken on mine. I think it's because the spring has gone inside, so it should be a fairly easy fix. You can see that I have to lift it up like so. But other than that, in fully working order, no issues. I think what I will say about the Amstrad is it's a very, very sturdy and reliable computer. Amstrad did have a weird reputation for basically cheap knockoff products from Hong Kong and China, and weirdly, if you read reviews or user comments about the Amstrad CPC or whatever, they say it's cheap and tacky. That is not the case. It's very, very well put together, sturdy and reliable, and a very good quality product. I've not known, I think maybe I've only seen one or two users on forums over the years say they've got a broken Amstrad. Usually it would be the 6128 with the disk drive belt, which is just a piece of rubber that gets worn over the years. Very, very easy fix. On the 464, maybe the cassette deck or something, but this still works perfectly fine. Just the eject button on mine. Let's just have a very, very quick look around the computer. If we just spin this around. Okay, on the back here we've got the monitor input and power input. Moving along, we've got the floppy disk drive expansion port, put a disk drive in. Printer port, although the actual thing there is actually directly on the PCB board actually. Not very good, but I think it's made of cardboard actually. That does get remedied on later versions of the Amstrad. We've got the joystick port, an I/O port there. Then the I/O port we can use for sort of stereo sound out, I believe. I think on the side of the machine, whether you can see this or not. Oh, I'll lift it up a bit. Yeah, we've got the volume there and the on-off switch. This is actually quite heavy actually. Quite a sturdy thing. So there we go. Quick overview, and we will move on. Okay guys, what we're going to take a look at in this video is this. This is the cassette that came with the computer. It's a demonstration tape. Probably the first thing you would have loaded up if you bought the computer new at the time. So we're going to take a look and actually load up something for real on the Amstrad. That's right. Let's get this in here. Cassette in. We'll rewind. Yeah, I think that's rewound. And then we do the magical key combination of Control, Shift, and Enter. And we do press play and any key, and check out the magical loading sounds. Oh man, that brings back some memories, that tape loading noise. And as you can see guys, this is the screen you're first greeted with when you turn the machine on. Amstrad 64K microcomputer version 1, copyright 1984, Amstrad Consumer Electronics PLC and Locomotive Software Limited. So when you boot up, you're at the basic prompt, basic 1.0 from Locomotive, and various commands you can type in there. I don't need to go through all that with you. Whilst that's loading, because I think it will take a bloody long time, we'll just have a little look around at what else we've got here. These are all my cassettes. I think some of you may have seen my stuff Amstrad collection, my corner of Amstrad before. Yeah, these are all the cassette games on this shelf here. Quite a few classics. Lots and lots of budget games. That was the brilliant thing about the CPC 464, is all the cassette games you could buy on budget at pocket money prices for £2.99 or £3.99 as they eventually went up to in the 90s. Quite a lot of games there. We've got some Amsoft games, some random ones there, and also Amstrad Action magazine cover tapes. Pretty much quite a complete collection there actually. Amstrad Action magazine was the best magazine to buy at the time. Well, actually throughout the Amstrad's history. What else have I got to show you? Well, as I mentioned, well I haven't mentioned so far, the Amstrad was an all-in-one solution. It came with this monitor. This one is the colour monitor, the CTM 644. And it went plugged straight into the CPC there. And it was an all-in-one solution with just one plug out to your mains. And that was the goal of Alan Sugar at the time. He was famous for his hi-fis, which were also an all-in-one solution and proved very popular. We'd combine a cassette deck, the amp, the vinyl deck, all in one solution. And he wanted to replicate that with a home computer. Not many people like that. A lot of people do. I like it, and I liked it at the time. The whole idea was poor little Jimmy, as I think Alan Sugar described him as, wants to use his computer but can't because his parents are watching the TV, watching the 6 o'clock news or whatever, or vice versa. The parents want to watch the telly, but little Jimmy's on his Amstrad or Spectrum or Commodore or something like that. So that was the solution. I like it. It was a little bit obviously higher cost, but I think it was still a decent price point, and it worked personally for me and my family. It worked brilliantly. So there we go. Some other Amstrads here, of course. Got my 6128, the disc drive, my favourite. The best one to own is of course the later release Amstrad 6128 Plus. We've got the GX4000 console there, and my 464 Plus, and the monitor for that. Just move these out of the way. What else have I got to show you? Well, the joystick that was released at the time of the 464's launch, the JY. This is the JY2, which I got in a charity shop for 50p just across the road from me, unbelievably. This is probably one of the worst joysticks I've ever played. Oops, here it is. Got something caught up on it. Ah, dear. But the sucker's on the bottom there. The only good thing about this was an output there for 2 joysticks you could link together. Very forward thinking. It is truly dreadful joystick. Some of the weakest fire buttons I've ever come across. And the most awful. Oh god, it's a terrible joystick. Worst of all though is this on the back. These ridges would kill your fingers. Okay, and we're getting there with the loading. And if you didn't want to use the monitor solution, Amstrad did release the MP1 modulator, which you could connect your Amstrad up to a telly with. So there we go. Now I think this is probably nearly loaded. We're getting there. So we'll set this up and leave that running. Okay, the demo's just loaded up. Oh, and it's drawing the Amstrad logo by the looks of it. It's a long time since I've seen this. Amstrad welcomes you to the CPC 464. An example of graphics. Okay, so we've just got lots of coloured lines. In red, blue and yellow. I always thought it was drawing what looks like a teddy bear crossed with Darth Vader's helmet or something, but there we go. Let's see what happens in a second. Hey, okay. Not the best example of graphics. Now an example of colours. And apologies for the flickering you may be seeing. Modern cameras don't seem to like old CRT monitors. Okay. Well, we've just got green, red and blue so far, not much of a colour demonstration. Okay, now it's cycling through the whole palette. It doesn't actually look very good. The Amstrad's got an amazing colour palette, actually. Great wide choice of colours, but that doesn't really show it off to its best on sort of a horrible grey background. An example of sound. Again, not a very good demonstration of sound. Examples of business applications spreadsheet. Yawn. But I will tell you this, guys, while this is just going through this rubbish. The Amstrad was an excellent home computer, not just for gaming, but for all kinds of stuff. It really was probably, in my opinion, the best all-round 8-bit home computer. Certainly the moving on to the 6128 with a disk drive. For many years I did all my homework and coursework on the Amstrad using various word processors. The keyboard was good, it was reliable, had a good resolution on the screen in the various different modes you could choose from. And also the Z80 process is very good for processing maths and calculations as well. And with all the available expansions with printers and other things you could plug in, it was a very good business computer as well for a home user. Now obviously most of you probably just use it for games, but as I said, I was still doing my homework on the Amstrad and printing it out on the DMP printer that was also released by Amstrad, and that worked perfectly well. And even used it through college and ignored the PC. So some may argue it's not the best gaming home computer, but I would argue 464, definitely the 6128 is probably the best all-round home computer. There we go, got an example here of some word processing. Rejustify. It's a pretty dull demo really, you wouldn't want to be showing this in shop windows. We've got some example of arcade games now. Sultan's Maze. Well, this is just the title screen. I don't think we actually see any in-game action. And not particularly good. Oh my god, not Home Runner. This is the worst fucking game Amstrad ever released. It is awful. And that music. That reminds me, there will be a feature I'll be doing eventually called the worst ever Amstrad games. I think this will probably feature in there somewhere. Oh dear. I don't think that's a particularly good demonstration of the Amstrad CPC, but hey, that's the demo tape that came with the machine, and I think it starts over here. Right, so there we go. I'm going to say a big happy birthday again to the Amstrad CPC 464. 30 years, and I still love this machine to bits. Just going to say a quick update. I do have a very special video celebrating the Amstrad CPC 464. It was to be put live today. Unfortunately guys, it is going to be delayed somewhat. Apologies for that. It does involve quite a few people and their input, and I'm still waiting for a couple of people to get me their bits. I mean, a lot of the people involved are very busy people, so, and I don't want to rush them and rush the edit of the video and do something really crap. So hopefully maybe by the end of the week or so, that should be online. Okay, well, thanks for watching guys. I hope you enjoyed, and lastly again, happy birthday to the CPC 464 from Amstrad. 30 years old today. Alright, cheers guys, bye.